Hey guys, was good? It's Triple J Boxing. We got a great fight that's gonna happen tonight. Well, a couple great fights. The card is already started. Prelims are on as I'm recording. The main card is starting pretty soon. I think it starts at 8. But yeah, so we got David Benavidez, the monster, the Mexican monster, versus Demetrius Boo Boo on Andre, and that's a good fight, guys. Now I waited this long to make my prediction. This is my prediction video for that fight, and I'll go into the Jose Benavidez versus Jermel or Jermal Charlo fight as well. But let's just start with Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez. So initially, obviously on paper, and just by the way David Benavidez gets, the way he's been looking lately, and just the way he beats guys down, you would have to just favor him. But I think it's more like there's more research I needed to do before I made this prediction, guys. And what I mean by that is, like, they really did a great job promoting David Benavidez. He's obviously part Mexican. I don't think he's full Mexican, but I think he's like indigenous as well. But he was born in the U.S., but he's got that Mexican fan base, and he fights like a Mexican, like how a Mexican fan would want someone to fight. But so I think that Demetrius Andrade, he just hasn't gotten that same exposure that a David Benavidez would get, and that's kind of why even the casual fan would just side with David Benavidez. But I had to go back and watch some of Demetrius Andrade's fights because, to be honest, I haven't seen that many fights of his. And in the ones I did see, I forget. Or they just, like I said, he's only fought once in the last couple of years. So he's kind of faded from my memory a bit. And plus, he just hasn't been promoted as good as a David is. So to make it short, I know I'm kind of just rambling on, but I looked at his most recent fight. I watched it, Demond Nicholson, and easily won the fight, unanimous decision. Dropped him a couple times. I think some were called a slip though or something, but he was he like, Demetrius Andrade's got swagger in there, guys. I've watched the Jason Quigley fight. Made easy work of him in like 2 rounds. And then I watched the Salaki fight, and he looked good. He looked good in that fight. He starts off fast in most of his fights, and it's weird how he doesn't get more stoppages because he clearly has power. You can see the way he throws those really winding shots, kind of like a Wilder with more technique. He's obviously has way more technique than Wilder, but he throws his looping hooks so wide, but he gets a lot of power on them. I'm surprised he doesn't knock out more people. He has good combinations too as well. Obviously, he does have decent knockout percentage. It's 60%, which is good. It's not bad for the division. But yeah, so I think he's got swagger in there. I love his combinations. I love his straight left to the body. I love his his combinations to the body and the head are just really good. Yeah, he brings it. He brings it from the very start of the fight. So I think he's definitely a live dog in there with David Benavidez. But the one thing you got to say is David Benavidez has faced the better competition. Like, when you look at Demetrius Andrade's resume, A lot of people didn't want to fight him, and that's why his resume is not that good, I would say. It's just Demetrius Andrade is the kind of guy you don't want to fight because it's hard to look good against him, and he he's not going to really raise your stock that much if you beat him, right? That's why no one wanted to fight him. But if he can get a win over David Benavidez, they'll have to fight him, kind of thing. But let's go to his resume. Jason Quigley, Salaki, those are like pretty much those are the best names he's had on his resume. He's like these guys he's fighting, like Luke Keeler and Artur Akarov, Fox, like they were either undefeated or only had like one or two losses. So he's facing like good opponents, just no one we really know. But when you go to David Benavidez, everyone knows Caleb Plant. Sure, he didn't look like a monster in that fight. It was a competitive fight that eventually David Benavidez started breaking him down and he won by decision. David Lemieux, you could say he was already damaged goods, but still very tough opponent. And then you got Anthony Durrell, who only had one loss up until the time. So Jalen Love, he's not that good, really. So, like, I'm not saying, like, David Benavidez' resume is that great either, but he's demolished a lot of these guys. And Caleb Plant is definitely his best opponent he's faced, considering the timing of it, too. Because if he fought David Lemieux back when David was still undefeated, only one loss, it probably would have been a better fight. Or maybe stylistically, it just wasn't good for David. But I think Caleb Plant is definitely the best guy in his resume. And he didn't knock him out. And he didn't look totally invincible. So it's just interesting to see how Demetrius Andrade is going to raise his level. Because David Benavidez is by far the best guy he will ever face. Whereas I guess you could say that Demetrius Andrade is the best guy that David's ever faced. Obviously, Caleb Plant, that could still be a fight in the future who, if that fight got made, we wouldn't know if Demetrius could beat Caleb. But I'm going to go off of a limb and say that Demetrius Andrade is going to be David's best opponent as well. But like I said, I made this video kind of late because I had to go back and I had to watch more Demetrius Andrade because I kind of forgot what he looked like, and I had to go back kind of, you know what I mean? Whereas David's fresh on our head still. He's been more active. He's fought not super active, to be honest, but like I said, they just promote David way more, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of seen more of him. But yeah, guys, it's hard to believe that Demetrius Andrade is from the U.S. because like the way this guy gets promoted, it's like he's a UK fighter. He just doesn't get that same promotion, right? Which is kind of strange. It's a shame that it's taken him this long to get this kind of opportunity to face a big name. Like, obviously, he's been champion, but he's never gotten that big name yet that you would want him to get. He is 35. He's not too old. He's at the end of his prime, but he hasn't been in major wars, right? So I think he's still a fresh 35. But I'm excited for the fight, guys. I'm still going to go with David Benavidez by decision. But I think we're going to get a competitive fight, guys. Demetrius Andrade's got swagger in there. He's got game. And he is very talented, I got to say. Going back and watching the tape, I like his explosive combinations. And his, like I said, his straight left to the body was really good. And he shows pretty good power to me. But yeah, guys, I guess he throws the punches kind of wide, too wide sometimes, that the guys see it coming. So even though it hits them on the chin, they know it's coming. So maybe that's why he's not getting the one-punch knockouts a lot of the time. But he did knock out Quigley, obviously, with that. But maybe that's why. So when someone hits you with power, but you see it coming, you can more brace for it. Whereas a punch you don't see coming knocks you out. So, yeah, guys. It's going to be interesting, though, if Dave Benavidez can take advantage of that very wide when he throws those very wide hooks, if David can kind of throw punch in between those and kind of counter him. But I'm going to go with David by decision, but I think we're going to get a good competitive fight. And yeah, guys, I wouldn't count out Demetrius Andrade. A lot of people are saying it's going to be knockout victory with David, which that could happen. Anything can happen, but a lot of people aren't giving Demetrius Andrade enough credit because, like I said, even with me, myself, who watches boxing, I had to go back and watch more Demetrius Andrade because I haven't seen enough of him to make my prediction yet that I had to go back because they just don't promote him the same way they promoted other guys. And you might even miss some of their fights, right? Because they're just not promoting it well. And then you don't even know he fought and then you missed it. Because some of those fights that I watched recently, I don't remember seeing. So, yeah, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Demetrius Andrade can win the fight in the fans' eyes, but will he get the decision over David? Probably not. David is the young guy. They're trying to build him. Why would they give the 35-year-old the win? It just don't make sense, right? If it will be a shame if it's a robbery tonight. I'll end it on that. This is Triple J Boxing. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.